Hello, amazing trailblazers. I am so excited to be here with you for another free training on how to live your next level life purpose, your legacy, to live authentically in your mission on this planet at this time. So that's what we're all about. That's what we're here to do at the Institute for Female Trailblazers. Welcome, welcome. We have some new people in the group, so I just want to offer you a super warm welcome, and be sure to check your direct messages, check your messages, because Renee McClure is your success advisor. Let me put those distractions away. Is your success advisor, and she'll be reaching out to you, just making sure that you know where everything is. We have so many trainings, so many free trainings in here. We have our 5 days to break barriers and live your legacy coming up on March 4th. So be sure to mark your calendars. There's going to be a registration link in the comments for you. It's all over all my social media too. So that is free. That's a free 5-day workshop just for you, a 5-day retreat just for you, to really set you up for that success, gain that clarity of what you're looking for, what that next step is for you. You may know just a little bit, or you may be like how I was, just like, I just know that this isn't it. Right? So we definitely have that guideline, that roadmap for you for that 5 days to break barriers and live your legacy. So a lot of fun stuff happening. A lot of free trainings in my Facebook group and our Facebook group, Women on the Rise. If you're not part of it, be sure to message me, message Renee, get into it. Like I said, there are a ton of free trainings in there. So all about living your life authentically, all about how do you find your life purpose and how do you live your life purpose so that you can leave the legacy that you're meant to. So that is what we are all about here. So welcome, welcome, welcome. Today we are actually talking about the art of saying yes and those 5 ways to transform your thoughts into actions. Now, if you need the handout still, please put handout, please, in the comments, and Renee will be sure to get that to you. We always have handouts, and even for the workshop, we have a workbook to go along with it. I know that I'm a visual learner. I like to listen. I like to have something in front of me that I'm filling out so that I can maintain my concentration. So, oh my goodness, we have so many other things too. We have the Blaze and Sip tea circle that we just started this past Monday too. So be on the lookout for all the good stuff. Yeah. Love all the materials. I know, right? I love them. So I know that, all of you probably do too, because you're attracted to what we have here. So, and again, it's just great to have that for learning purposes. So we are going to be talking about the art of saying yes. And what came to me when I was looking at like this training was like, how many times have I said, yes, I'm going to do this. Yes, I'm going to do it. Like that day, I almost changed my life. That's what was coming to me. I was actually looking at this photo that I took with Rachel Hollis when I met her at the Live to Lead conference that I went to in Atlanta. And I remember that day. I remember it so clearly. I remember talking to Katie. You guys know Katie Meyer. She is the co-host with me on Sick Crooked Talk Straight, our podcast for real women, by real women, looking for real change. But anyways, I remember chatting with her. She was there with her organization. I was there from my organization. We were both in corporate jobs, our corporate roles at that time. And I just remember looking at her, at Katie, and saying, I'm going to change my life. I'm going to go after my dreams. I'm going to start my own business. Right. And I was so inspired by Rachel Hollis. Right. She was so authentic. She was so just down to earth and just such a beautiful soul, truly. And I just felt so inspired during that conference. It was an all-day conference. John Maxwell was there. There were so many amazing people there. And I just remember leaving there saying, this is it. This is going to change. I'm going to change my life. I'm going to change my ways. I am going, like totally inspired and moved. And then life happens and we get caught up in the day-to-day stuff again. And I know I did that. And then a year went by and that is, I mean, a lot happened in that year, but still a year went by from that time that I saw her. It might have been longer to the time that I actually took action. So, it made me start thinking about how many times have I done this, right? How many times have I, had that like real, like strong encouragement and inspiration to be like, yes, I'm going to follow my dreams. Yes, I'm going to do this. And then I get back into my ways. Anybody relate to that? Put a yes in the comments. Like I can tell you it took me 10 years, right? Directly speaking to me. Yeah. Oh, hey Marie, welcome. So being able to recognize that, right? Where it's just like this is our pattern. This is a pattern that we sort of get stuck in where it's just like I'm super inspired and then life happens because like stuff happens. We still have our day-to-day things and we have our dreams. So being able to look at how many times, and I want you to put this in the comments, how many times have you had those moments and then you put your dreams on the back burner again? Whether it was for 6 months or a year or 2 years, or maybe you're still doing it. Put it in the comments. I miss your face too. So being able to just recognize that this isn't just you, we all go through it. And that is why we have mentors and coaches and therapists and everything helping us along the way, right? Mentoring us along the way, pushing us outside of our comfort zone. Because again, we get to this comfort zone point and we're just about to tip over it. And then we're like, oh, maybe this isn't the right time, right? Stuff is happening. Stuff is always going to happen. Life is going to happen. That is something that I have realized in my quest of a decade of going in and out of, moving in and out of entrepreneurship. I was working full time and then starting another side hustle and business, and then falling back into my full-time job because, again, the golden handcuffs or the limiting beliefs, like so many different things. So today is really looking at harnessing the power of your yes, right? Within each thought, each action, and each word, this lies a profound choice to embrace your dreams, right? A real strong decision that we make. And then what do we do to action our way through that, right? We can have, what is it? A dream without action is just a dream. I think I heard that. I don't know where that came from or who said that, but I know it wasn't, it's not my quote. I just remember somebody saying it. So being able to recognize that it's like so many people have dreams, but are you going to be able to action, back it up with action? What actions are you taking? And this is to call it out because I know for me, I needed it called out. I needed the 2x4 slapped against my head. And that was when my dad passed, and the realization that like tomorrow truly isn't, it's not guaranteed. So being able to really look at this and like, what am I saying yes to? And then how do I continue to say yes? How do I continue to show up for myself? How do I continue to show up for my dreams? How do I continue to honor my vision? And how do I continue to live my authentic legacy? Right? So what are you saying yes to? Put it in the comments. Say, I say yes to, and then put it in. Put in your dreams, put in your vision, put in your legacy. I say yes to me today. I say yes to starting my business. I say yes to signing on my first client. I say yes to, climbing that corporate ladder if that's where you're at, right? Some people have like the entrepreneurial spirit. Some people have that dedication to change things from the top, right? In organizations. It's so beautiful that we have this. So what are you saying yes to? Something that scares you. I want you to put that in the comments. I say yes to, and then put something that scares you, that has been in your dreams, that has been in your vision for however long. Maybe it's been a couple days, maybe it's been 6 months, maybe it's been 6 years, right? Maybe it's been 6 decades, right? Who knows? But put it in there, right? So this is really about discovering this transformative power of cultivating a positive yes mindset, and then learning those actionable strategies so that like when every step we're taking forward, we're overcoming fear. We're stepping, even when there is fear, we're stepping with that fear. We're clarifying our goals. We're taking that empowered action, right? Victim stance is like, oh, life just happens. I guess I have to put my shit on the back burner again. I've done that way too many times. Oh my goodness, so many times. And that's not what I want for you. So that's the victim stance. Taking that empowered action is like, oh my gosh, shit is hitting the fan. And how am I going to continue to move forward, right? How am I going to continue to follow my dreams? Because what happens when we don't, when we actually put our vision on the back burner, is that we go through a lot of suffering, so much suffering. And when we go through suffering, that ripples out into our lives. It happened to me so many times. And being able to actually put your vision, put your mission, living your legacy, being authentic on the front burner, that actually ripples out too. So I am going to encourage you to ripple out with authenticity and living your legacy and following your vision and your dreams and your mission and your purpose in life. So that's what we're here for. Put a yes in the comments if you are here for that as well. Right? We are really here to learn how to continuously move forward. So being able to, yes, empowered action versus victim stance. Beautiful. What you're moving your, I love that. Yes. Moving your kids back home to Canada for an adventure year. Oh, I love that, Renee. So being able to look at this. So what is this? What I had mentioned a couple words, this concept of positive decision making, right? What is positive decision making? So I want to first start out by just, most of us know the growth mindset versus the fixed mindset, right? The growth mindset is all about, taking positive forward action, looking at obstacles as opportunities, looking at failures as lessons learned, right? So that's more of the growth mindset. The fixed mindset is looking at everything from pessimism, from like, this is an obstacle, I can't overcome this, right? And when you hear me speak more and more, you will know that that's like the growth mindset is what I consider the authentic self, and the fixed mindset is what I call the conditioned self, right? It's all these conditions that we grew up with, of just like what we're capable of and what we're not capable of, and how we view things and how we view people and how we view life and failure and all of the things, right? And it's usually heavy. It's usually, the conditioned self is heavy. It's filled with fear and doubt, imposter syndrome, right? Like all of these different things. Pessimism, like skepticism. So being able to recognize the difference between those two. So positive decision making, it involves approaching choices with an optimistic and constructive mindset, right? Here again, we're really embracing that growth mindset, and we're focusing on potential benefits and solutions rather than looking at the limitations or the negative outcomes, right? That's what we're looking at here. We're looking at positivity. We're looking at solutions. We're looking at, right? And this is something that is so ingrained in our head, is to go right, like laser focus in on what isn't working, right? And sometimes that's part of your job too. I've worked with attorneys that it's just like, well, that's my job, Leanne. Like I'm not going to give that up. It's not about giving that up in the way that it works, right? If that's your job, if you're like paid to see what's amiss, that's one thing. But when that seeps into your like personal growth and advancement, and even, just the way that you look at situations on a whole, that's a whole nother thing. I'm like, you can keep that in those specific, dimensions. But when we're looking at, when I say, why didn't, what happened that you didn't, make that forward movement, or, we had this goal, what happened that it didn't happen, right? And it's like, well, this happened and that happened and this happened and that happened. Like, all the things that did go wrong. So what I like to focus on is like, okay, so we know for sure What didn't work? What are the opportunities within that? What did you learn about it? And what went right about certain situations, right? So I have that. That's a constant in my mind. What went right about today? What could go right about this week, right? So really looking at the benefits and rather than and solutions rather than looking at limitations, negative outcomes. It really entails like evaluating options based on our values, our goals, and our desired outcomes. And from that, making choices that align with your aspirations and your values, right? So that's positive decision making. And so again, it's optimistic, it's constructive, it is aligned authentically with your values, with your aspirations, with your dreams, right? With where you want to go. So and that's something too of like breaking it down to be able to see, right? Because we can make all these different decisions. We can make all sorts of moves to advance in our career, to start our business. But if it's all haphazard and you don't know, you don't take the time to actually sit back and look at, is this actually bringing me to where I want to go, right? Is it bringing me closer to or further away from where I want to go, right? So being able to look at that. And again, that's what I work with women on all the time too. That's like just ingrained in it. It's like, again, we have like weekly goal setting sessions and weekly, intention sessions to where we're looking at, okay, what are your 90-day goals? What are your goals for this week? What's the intention for this week? And how do they align with each other? How is this getting you closer to what your goals are? Right? That's so important to have that focus time every single week, if not multiple times a week, because we can get distracted by bright, shiny objects. Okay. So the benefits of positive decision making, it increases our confidence, right? Because we are aligning with our authentic self. We are aligning with our vision. We are making more intentional decisions. It increases our resiliency because of the framework, the mindset that we're utilizing, and increases our problem solving skills, right? So that's the positive decision making. So being able to recognize that and to recognize when you are in alignment with that positive decision making. So yeah, I have a koozie with that. I love it. So cool. So what does it mean, right? So that's just one concept of this, is the positive decision making. And where have you made those in your life? And how did that turn out, right? I know that for me, bringing it back to that positive decision to like, okay, like truly it's just like shit's hitting the fan, like what is happening? I mean, I'm sick and my husband's sick and then my business is like oh, whatever it is, it's just like interesting, what's happening here, right? What is happening? What is the benefit of what's happening? And what's the solution to whatever issue that we're going through, right? I often say it's like, okay, shit has to hit the fan and break down before I can break through. The things that aren't meant for me need to fall away. Like that's that positive mindset, rather than, oh my gosh, how I used to think is just like, well, this happened and this happened. And like, of course I can't move forward. I'm stuck with where I'm at. Like I have to just get through this moment. Instead of like continuously just saying, okay, this is happening for me, not to me, right? I want you to put that in the comments. This is happening for me, not to me. And being able to strip stuff away when you're like, I don't even know what's happening. So what does it mean to say yes to opportunities, to challenges, to those positive changes in life? And let me just preface this as like, even the positive changes can feel uncomfortable, right? When I was moving from corporate into my business, that was a really positive change. And it was it was really uncomfortable. I was moving into something that was unknown. Yeah, when there was, turmoil in my marriage and we had really hard conversations, it was scary. And I knew that positive changes were happening, right? We had to have these conversations in order to move forward. So saying yes to opportunities, and these challenges It really means embracing a mindset of openness and a willingness, and there's a readiness, right? So it's openness, willingness, readiness to engage with new experiences and growth opportunities. What are you saying yes to, right? When I look at this, and this can be in so many, like, what am I saying yes to? Is constantly in my mind when I, make those decisions to say, no, I'm not going to do this. What am I saying yes to? Right? Again, making sure that's all in alignment, because when we say no to something, that gives us more space to say yes to something. So, looking for that openness, the willingness, and the readiness to say, yes, I'm ready for new experiences. Put that in the comments. Yes, I'm ready for new experiences. Yes, I'm ready to embrace the unknown. Ah, that's a big one, right? So, put that in the comments. Yes, I'm ready to embrace the unknown, right? When we go for that next job opportunity, or career advancement, or when we go for starting our business on the side, we're like, yes, I'm saying yes to the unknown. I'm saying yes because something, we don't know the future. We just don't. We can't predict it. There are some people that can. I can't. I mean, I don't know. So being able to say yes to that. What does saying yes to opportunities, challenge, and positive, changes in life is openness, willingness, and readiness to engage with new experiences. So let's look at those three mindsets that it involves, like the actions, the three actions. It's a mindset involves three actions. So when we're looking at this, what are we embracing? What are we embracing about saying yes to those maybe scary things, to yes to, the like where we want to go? So looking at this, when we have that growth mindset, the actions that we're taking with that mindset is embracing new opportunities, right? So when we bust through that fear and the doubt and the, like, again, like just the turbulence of the unknown, when we're moving past our comfort zone, we're actually saying yes to opportunities. Saying yes to opportunities means that you're recognizing and you're seizing chances for personal and professional growth, right? I'm saying yes to this. I'm saying yes to these opportunities that, even though this is scary, this may lead to something so grand and beautiful that maybe I just can't even see right now. Being able to recognize that, right? It takes stepping outside of your comfort zone and taking those calculated risks, right? Being open to exploring new paths. Looking at what's right in front of you as far as those opportunities. So that's all about embracing those opportunities, embracing the opportunities that are right in front of you. Each step of the way, every single day, there are new opportunities. Right. I know one of my gratitudes when I wake up in the morning is that, I'm so grateful for waking up to new opportunities and possibilities. Right. That is like a staple in my gratitudes. Another action that we're taking as we're saying yes to these is that we are facing challenges, right? We are saying yes to challenges that involves confronting obstacles, confronting what we see as obstacles, confronting setbacks, confronting difficulties with courage and resilience and determination. That's what we're doing here. We are actually facing our challenges. There's this beautiful jeweler. I can't remember where she's from, but she has this whole line that is "Be the bison," because bisons, they travel into the storm because they know that on the other side, like, that's where safety is. That's where it's like, to get to that other space, instead of how so many of us run away. And you are not alone. This is something that I did, and still have that tendency that I could go into if I didn't have the mentors and the accountability that I do. It's so easy to go back. So we're facing challenges. We're being like the bison. We're moving towards the storm, and we're like, all right, we're going to make it through this, right? So we get to face challenges. What is another thing that gets to happen with this mindset? right, with this willingness and this openness to say yes, is that we get to embrace positive changes, right? Saying yes to changes in life entails welcoming and like actively participating in these shifts, right? Again, this goes back to life is not happening to me, it's happening for me, right? This is taking action, ready to embrace these changes. And with this, there's this book. It's called The Luck Factor. Great book, and it talks about optimism. Its whole preface is around optimism and pessimism. But this makes me think of it when we're talking about embracing positive changes, because when we are able to see, first of all, and it's this trickle down effect of just like being able to look at this, like look at things as like optimistic, it opens up doors for us, right? It gives us this ability to see things in a new light, and that way, and then it opens us up to different opportunities too that we wouldn't have had if we just closed down, right? So we're embracing that positive change, creating opportunities for self-improvement, for progress, and all. Again, this is about, you know, fulfilling your legacy. This is about saying yes to your dreams. This is about saying yes to those opportunities that are in front of you. All right. So saying yes to all of this is about cultivating a mindset of optimism. And ladies, you know that one of my favorite my favorite words is with curiosity and compassion. So really opening up to that optimism, that curiosity, the compassion, the resiliency. Compassion actually builds resiliency, so that it empowers us to embrace the full spectrum of every experience of saying yes, right? Navigating those uncertainties with confidence and trust in yourself, trust in the universe, like so much trust, right? And this all shapes your journey towards a more fulfilling and purpose-filled life, okay? So, what you have all come here for is the 5 actionable steps in transforming thoughts into actions, right? Yes, you're ready to face the unknown. Beautiful, beautiful, beautiful. So, the 5 actionable steps in transforming thoughts into actions. Number 1, okay? Clarifying, we always go into this of just like the self-awareness part, is clarifying your goals and your values. So looking at, this is the first crucial step. And like, what am I even saying yes to? You have to know what you're saying yes to, right? It's we're not doing the Jim Carrey movie Yes to Everything, although that is a great movie. And there was this one book, the book that actually catapulted me into my business. I mean, there were so many instances, but it was like the Year of Yes, or the Year of Saying Yes. And I can only find it on Audible. It is a fiction book, and it was so good. I was just like, yes, look at that. She said yes to all these things that she was afraid of, and look what happened. But we want to do this in a more calculated way. Okay. We want to have the spirit of yes, and we want to have the self-awareness of what we're saying yes to, because as women, we have a tendency to people please, and we will overbook and overextend ourselves. Anybody been there? Put a yes in the comments. Have you overextended yourself? Have you, ended up totally burnt out because you have overextended yourself because you said yes to way too many things? Put a yes in the comments. I know I'm not the only one. So that's why we want to be way more intentional with it. So that's why the first really impactful step is being able to clarify your goals and your values. What do I want to say yes to? What, instead of being just on autopilot, saying yes to everything, we want to be intentional. So to be intentional, we have to know what our goals are and what our values are, right? Take time to reflect on your aspirations, both short term and long term, and then align them with your core values. And that will give you that roadmap up to like, what am I saying yes to? Right? This is the clarity that really provides you with that direction. And that will motivate you to pursue your, the actions that are in harmony. We are always looking to harmonize, okay? That are in harmony with your deepest desires and your beliefs. So that's the first actionable step for transforming your thoughts into actions when you're looking at what you're saying yes to is clarifying your goals and your values. Okay. The second step is to embrace your growth mindset. If you don't have one, get a coach that can help you, because guess what? I know that I needed consistent feedback and consistent challenges against my own mindset when I was taking my steps towards finding my life purpose, not only finding it, but then actioning my way into it. I really needed a lot of support and a lot of just people challenging the way that I was thinking. Because a lot of times, again, I was in that fixed mindset where I was just like, that's not going to work, but that's not going to work. But I need this, but I need, I don't want to have an investor to be able to create my business. I don't want to have this. So I guess I'm not going to be able to do it. How in the heck am I going to raise $1 million? Like, who's gonna, like, you know what I mean? So it's just like, I was so stuck in that. And stuck in like the problem, stuck in like focusing on the problem rather than like, well, what's possible? So that's embracing the growth mindset. And I know I needed encouragement every step of the way when I was doing that. And I actually have 2 coaches now for different purposes, but I still have my coaches. I still have people around me that challenge my mindset. I have colleagues that do that. I have friends that do that. I surround myself with people that challenge me, challenge my fears, challenge my thinking, challenge when I'm falling back into old patterns of people pleasing. Okay. So embrace your growth mindset. Have somebody that's there with you to challenge it. The third is to practice visualization and affirmation. Okay, so this is a bit about that manifestation process. Okay, this will actually collapse time for you when you implement this. So many people get caught up in the how-tos, in the tasks, in the step-by-step process, which is important, right? I want to know the steps. That's why I created a roadmap for my programs. That's why I give you guys the handouts. We have a roadmap. This is it. So that's just one part of it. But when we're not practicing more of the manifestation and the possibilities and opening ourselves up to the possibilities, then we are going to fall into old patterns. Okay. So we need both of these, not just one or the other. We need both. So the visualization, the affirmation techniques, they really harness the power of your thoughts to manifest the desired outcomes. And they reinforce positive beliefs, right? You're imagining yourself in the space where you are living your legacy, whatever that may be, where you are saying yes to the things that inspire you, where you have the boundaries and the wherewithal inside of you to say, like, no, I'm actually not going to accept that anymore, right? I'm not going to accept that behavior. I'm not going to accept that price point. I'm not going to accept the doubts. I'm no longer going to accept. I had this one woman who just adore her. She was at one of my retreats, and she said, I am no longer going to accept good enough is good enough, right? Because that was holding her back. So this really helps us to see ourselves succeeding. It gives us that energy, that internal movement towards it. Because, a lot of times what's happening in the background is that we're telling ourselves all the different ways that we're actually going to fail and it's not going to work out. So bringing the visualization and the affirmation to the forefront is key in moving towards that success. Ask any successful entrepreneur. Any of them, especially the ones that we typically follow, right? Where it's anybody, like, Oprah does this. Tony Robbins does it. Rachel Hollis does this. Rachel Rogers does this. Just look at it. Brene Brown. I mean, and so many great, amazing, entrepreneurs have done this, or people that have rose, up the corporate ladder to change things from the top down. So anyways, practice visualization and affirmation. The fourth action is to actually take consistent action. And that's what I was talking about too with my mindset, is that my coaches, my mentors, the people around me were there to say, okay, well, what's your next step? And what do you have to do next? And breaking it down. You can do this, right, on your own. But if you're not taking the steps forward, then that's when you call in the forces, right? Reinforcements and those people that can hold you accountable. So taking consistent action is the bridge between dreams and reality. Like I was saying before, and I swear, I think she just Maya Angelou maybe said this, but don't quote me on that. Is that like without, dreams without action is just, they're just dreams, right? If you're not taking that consistent action every single day, and that action looks different for me, right? It's just like, yes, I have these tasks, but I'm also, how am I visualizing, right? That's action too. How am I visualizing how I want to move through this? How am I manifesting this? So breaking down your goals, this is something that we do, and that's why I have the weekly goal setting sessions and accountability calls, is that we want to make sure that we're breaking down these goals and we're taking forward steps, and every forward step that we take, we celebrate, right? So being able to recognize that consistency builds that momentum. Consistency every single day, waking up and saying, what am I committed to today? What am I going to commit to? What am I committed to? Committing to and recommitting to your vision, recommitting to your passion, and then aligning those goals, associated with that. So every day looking at that, I have a task list, breaking it down into okay, so what are my 3 top goals? And what are those intentions that I have behind them, right? Every single day we're setting those. So taking that consistent action and then celebrating that. And then last is that it's really important to learn from setbacks and then to adjust accordingly. A lot of times, and I know that I did this early on, probably before, it was like when I was in and out of entrepreneurship, I would take my failures as a message to I'm going in the wrong direction, Like I should just quit. So going in the wrong direction and pivoting is one thing. Going in the wrong, when you have that mindset of I'm going in the wrong direction, it failed, and you just quit altogether, that's a whole nother thing. Okay. That's what's going to keep you stuck. So learning from those setbacks, adjusting accordingly. Setbacks and challenges are inevitable. It's inevitable along your journey. There are going to be mishaps, and it's how you deal with them, how you approach them, how you embrace them. That's going to be key to your success. I remember this is when I was still in corporate, we as a business made a big mistake towards the clients. It impacted the clients. We made a mistake. It impacted them. And what I was told, so I went up there, and I was a manager at the time, and I said, listen, I want to address this. I want to address that. There were some things that we did that could have been done differently. And I want to let you know that, and I want to honor that. And I got in so much trouble that you do not tell clients when you have made a mistake. I'm like, that does not feel right, right? That's about embracing my responsibility and saying, I see it. I'm not avoiding it. I know you can see it too. And let's how do we want to move forward? This is what I'm doing to pivot, right? To adjust. And even if there's not anybody, right, maybe nothing happened, maybe nothing, it didn't impact your clients. But what you want to look at is that didn't have the outcome that I wanted in my business or in my career. What do I need to do differently? There's a woman that I'm working with that did. I mean, she was stuck in this condition of just ripping out hours after hours and putting in hours and burning out, and so many things were happening. And she's like, I want to do things differently, right? So she learned from that. She was successful, like many of us are, but we're burned out and we're doing it in a way that is not aligned authentically. Anybody relate to that? Put a yes in the comments. So what we did was break that down and say, okay, let's look at your values. Let's look at what we can learn from this. How do we want to move forward? And she just got her annual review after working together for a year, and they were just blown away by all of her progress and the way that she has taken action in her own life we call it work-life integration, because that is if you want to know more about that, message me. So being able to really learn from your setbacks and then adjust. How do I want to move forward? Again, that's taking the empowerment. You are empowered to make different decisions. So by learning from your setbacks, making the necessary adjustments, you emerge stronger, wiser, and better equipped to navigate future challenges. Not to mention, right, we are detaching from like, oh, this failure or setback is like, I'm a failure. It's just like, okay, well, interesting. That didn't work, right? So in closing, I want to remind you again to sign up, register for the free workshop that is coming up March 4th. It is Breaking Barriers and Living Your Legacy. It's a 5 days, completely free to you. Reach out if you have any questions. Reach out to Renee McClure. Reach out to myself. We will help you through that process. And if you're watching this, yes, it is for you. So really looking at like, okay, so bringing it all together, saying yes, right? What are you saying yes to? I want you to open up to say yes to the whispers of your heart. Yes to those nudges that are guiding you towards your deepest desires and highest aspirations. And just here, just closing your eyes if you can. Sometimes you're driving, walking, and you can't close your eyes, but like, I want you to imagine for a moment saying yes to all of those whispers guiding you to your deepest desires, to your vision, your purpose. What would that feel like? What would that look like? Saying yes to the audacity of your dreams, because within those lie the blueprint of your true purpose. Saying yes to your dreams, saying yes to crafting a legacy that reflects the essence of who you are. You're leaving behind a trail of inspiration and empowerment for generations to come. Knowing that your yes is not merely a word, it is a declaration of commitment to yourself and to the world. Say yes boldly and unlock the gateway to a life of fulfillment, passion, and profound impact. Imagine embracing the power of your yes and watch as your dreams take flight, your vision unfolds, and your authentic legacy flourishes. Put a yes in the comments if this resonates with you, a yes if this is what you can imagine, and a yes if this is what you want. So again, be sure to register for the 5 days to break barriers and live your legacy. This is something that you can say yes to today. And it's just an investment of your time, an investment in releasing any kind of limiting beliefs, an investment in your dreams. So we're so excited to see you there. Thank you so much for joining us for today's training on the art of saying yes, 5 ways to transform thoughts into actions. And we're so excited to see you in the 5-day workshop.